again, and welcome to ManchTalk. I'm Tammy Simmons. I'm your host, and I'm glad you're joining us here. So hopefully people are starting to get past the election. I know a lot of people are still upset about the election results. Reality is we're transitioning into a new president, we're transitioning into a new governor, and that's just the way it is. We have to work through it. This is how elections work. So that behind us and some of that attention sucking the life out of everything hopefully is gone. And now we're coming into the Thanksgiving holiday season and the Christmas holiday season and the winter months. And now's the best time, especially for those of you who are very frustrated about politics and need to think about something else. Now would be a great time to reach out and help a great project that will feed and get winter coats to children in and around Manchester. Joining me today is Representative Amanda Bouldin. She represents Ward 5 here in Manchester, and she is the organizer for a group called ShireSharing.org. First of all, Amanda, thanks for joining me.
Hi.
And her daughter Sophia is here with us. And I wanted to congratulate you on your re-election. You did great. You were the top vote getter in Ward 5, and good for you, and go up and do some good things in Concord.
Thank you.
But the main reason I asked you to be on was to explain more about Shire Sharing, how you got your start in this, because I know there's a backstory to it, and then we can talk about how people can help and ways that they can, make sure that as many people as possible get fed this Thanksgiving.
Well, I grew up in Texas, and when I was a teenager, my dad started his own project called the Basket Brigade, and every Thanksgiving at like 6 a.m. he'd make me wake up and get in his car, and we'd go to different homes and deliver Thanksgiving meals once a year. And I was never like that into it, but I remember one time we went to a house, dropped off some food, and the people didn't speak very much English, and they were like gesturing for my dad to go in the house, and they were like trying to give him a place to sit, and they wanted to share things with him, and he was like, no, I can't stay, I'm busy, and he like really wanted to move on to the next house and get the job done. And so that's an experience that really stood out to me. Like he wasn't there for the things,
right. He was there to help people, and they were grateful,
right. And so I moved to New Hampshire in 2009, and then about 18 months after I moved here, he was diagnosed with leukemia. And it was really fast acting, and within 2 months he was gone. So that was April of 2011 when he passed away. And that fall, I was driving around in Bedford, going somewhere, and I thought, I wonder if anyone's going to do his project this year in
right.
Texas.
Who's gonna pick up the slack, right?
And then I called somebody, because I think we could drive while talking on the phone back then.
Yeah, it wasn't illegal. You were allowed to actually be an adult and make decisions about your capabilities on your own.
Right. So that day I didn't wreck, and I called someone and started, bouncing the idea off of people. And believe it or not, I was actually like nervous about. What I was asking people was, what do you think if we did this here? Do you think that we could get enough donations? Do you think that we would be successful? And it's funny that I was nervous about it. Because all my friends were like, oh my God, this is so great, you should do it. And that was sometime in October of 2011, and I put up a Facebook post about it, and then people just started throwing money at it, and I think we raised about $1,000 in like 2 weeks, and we ended up providing meals for a little over 50 households.
Which is a big deal, especially if you're one of the 50 households.
Yeah.
Now,
So
was that
really
just
fun.
that year? Was it just in Manchester, or was it still across the state?
No, those households were in Concord.
Okay.
Because it's been, it takes time
Because
to
you used
find...
to live in, I think you used to live in Concord, didn't
Yeah.
you? So that would make sense that it was in
Yeah.
Concord.
And well, also it's just it's taken time to really find the people that need the help and get in touch with them.
Yeah,
Because
because it's not like there's not a list out there that says, hey, look at me, I could use food.
Right.
Right.
You
So you have to figure out how to find them.
Right, you don't just wake up and start a charity and then know where
Miraculously, this list is provided to you.
So, and then a year went by, and then I was sitting at a social event, and people were like, are you going to do it again? And I was like, it was kind of like a one-time thing just to memorialize my dad, and then somebody like shoved $10 toward me, and they're like, you got a donation, now you have to do it. And that year we delivered meals to 192 households. and it's been growing every year ever since, and I just keep doing it.
Yep. I know last year
It's a
was
lot of work.
last year was the first year that Dan and I don't know if I've donated in the past. I don't really remember. Dan may have donated. He donates to everybody, but last year Dan and I did it. Came and helped with the
I remember.
compiling of the food,
Yeah.
which was amazing to watch
You guys were
because
working
it's
really
not like
hard.
this just happens. I don't think people realize, as is the case with any type of volunteer project, there's always all this work that nobody ever seen. So we go into this warehouse and there's pallets and pallets and pallets of all this different type of food and hundreds of these empty bags with lists of food, and there's dozens and dozens of volunteers walking around putting in, one can of gravy and one can of pumpkin mix and a can of, evaporated milk and a pie crust, and you're going through and it's like you're shopping for each of these families. And it was a great way to spend a morning, knowing that you're helping all these people for very little effort, on any one individual's part, except for maybe yours, because I'm sure it's a huge amount of work on your end.
My friend Edie calls it tangible love. I think that's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it. She says it's a way to love someone, but they can actually feel it because they feel it in their tummies,
Yep.
and you feel it when you're putting it all together.
Yep, it is. It was
You're not just writing a check and saying, "Well, their lives are
there's
fixed."
nothing wrong with people donating money. It's just that doing there was a certain amount of gratification knowing that you were helping people. Years ago, probably 15 years ago, I remember Phil Grazzo and I organized, maybe it was with the Manchester Republican Committee, I don't know. We organized and we made a Thanksgiving dinner in what now is 1111 Elm for veterans, for anybody who didn't. And it was like one of the best Thanksgivings ever. There's something to be said about helping. I don't know. Maybe it's a little selfish gratification. I don't. Whatever it is, it's good. So I know you mentioned that we're getting late because of these elections, because they've disrupted all of our lives for so long. We're a little behind the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do I'm not the treasurer, and it's Monday, so I'm owed an update. But we are trying to reach our goal of 500 households. On Saturday morning, we were really far behind, and I was stressing out a little. And then someone made a $3,000 Bitcoin donation.
Amazing. That's awesome.
And another person donated over $1,300. And people have been really stepping up and donating a lot of money. So it's possible that we've met our goal, but I can't say for certain until all the numbers are worked out.
If you're watching it right there at the bottom of the screen, it says shiresharing.org. That's the website, and people can go and donate there, I'm assuming. I do know, as somebody who ran for office, I did receive a very pleasant email, which was a great reminder that anybody who did run for office and has excess funds in their campaign account, even if it's $5, if it's $3, you have to do something with it. You can keep it there and keep it for 2 years from now.
File reports,
but you have to file reports every 6 months. So if it's you might as well find a good way to dispose of the money, and this would be a great way to give back. Whether you won or lost. So if you ran for office and you have excess funds, this would be a great charity. You know that you're going to be helping people.
And we recently earned 501c3 status.
So does that make?
So it's really come a long way from.
I was going to say it went from just a whim to now it's a real deal.
Yeah.
So I assume that you work with other entities. I mean, because you obviously have to buy a huge amount of food. This is no longer, hey, let's pick up a couple of our friends and go to the grocery store and pick up the food for 50 people. This is, where are they delivering the pallet?
Right. So the New Hampshire Food Bank is helping us out with some stuff. They're going to drop off supplies at our warehouse that help us operate at sort of a higher caliber, like more efficiently.
Okay.
Because they know what to do.
Yep.
And
they've had that 501c3 a little longer than
yeah, they're definitely running a food bank all the time. I only do it for like 4 days a year. And we have a warehouse space thanks only to Brady Sullivan.
Yep.
We had our first couple Shire Sharings at like a friend's house, and then we kept outgrowing it because it got to a point where there was nowhere to put all the bags.
Right.
Like it was
right.
nuts.
It's crazy.
And
I mean, it
not
filled
to
up the
mention
warehouse.
the people.
Right.
Yeah.
It was much larger than I had visualized when I went last year.
And so I reached out to Brady Sullivan, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and they've been giving us unused warehouse space every year. And it's lucky that they, every time November rolls around, they have a vacancy.
Awesome.
Something they haven't managed to, transfer to anyone yet. So this year we're going to be down on South Willow. We're like transient, we're in a new space every year. And we spent a couple years next to the Stonyfield headquarters over by the airport on Perimeter
Road. Yep.
And this year we'll be on South Willow next to the DMV. So
that's good, but that's central. That's easy for people to find.
Yep, fast food and everything. It's actually right by the Chinese buffet that we have been going to every year after we make our deliveries.
Which is perfect. See, it's like meant to be. And I probably will force myself to go out and have Chinese every time I do. I say, why did I eat that? But it's delicious while you're eating it.
Typically, by the time we're done making all of the deliveries, we're all frozen.
Yeah.
And there was one year we delivered in a blizzard.
Yeah.
Like we had
I think I do remember that it snowed really bad one year.
So it's always nice to go to the buffet and like chill out and warm up a little.
So that's how they help with. Do they help you obtain? I mean, do you buy the food wholesale?
Yeah. So Market Basket usually gives us, the one on Elm usually gives us a pretty good deal on turkeys.
Yep.
But I won't go into the details
fine.
because I don't want anyone to like
generally
feel entitled. And we also buy fresh produce in bulk from Granite State Fruit Company.
Okay.
And they're pretty great because they can turn around and order really fast. Right. And they take care of everything, and I just show up with money.
Nice.
And they throw it all in the truck. Oh, Starving Artist Movers called me this year. So last year we had like a miscommunication about how I was going to get about the truck that was going to take all the stuff from Market Basket in Hannaford to the warehouse space where we assemble everything. And I just started calling moving companies in Manchester, and I got to I guess it was the third one, third time's a charm, and that was Starving Artist Movers, and I had to tell them, like, this weird story about, can you bring me some groceries, and they're like, absolutely. And then this year, they called me out of the blue, and they're like, can we help again? So that's really cool. So they're going to do all of the heavy lifting, getting the stuff to the warehouse.
So now you've bought the product, you get the product delivered, they're going to help get it to the warehouse destination. You'll need manpower to pack the bags. So that happens on the 19th, Saturday the 19th, is that correct?
Starting at 10 a.m.
So that, is there a way on the website for people to sign up to help with that?
Yep. So it's shiresharing.org/volunteer.
Okay. So if you want to help, you can sign up there.
And there's also a volunteer tab at the top of the page.
And if you want to give money to help buy all this stuff, that's there. So now it's the 19th. There's all this piles of food and all these volunteers, and they put it all in bags. Now you've got to get it from that warehouse to the 500 houses. How do you do that?
Well, to back up, like the bags that we fill, they're not all identical, and
no,
you know that.
I remember that.
And it's because we get like veterans, we get elderly people, single parents with kids, we get new Americans, and then people with like terminal medical conditions, people with
dietary restriction. There's just
behavioral, mental health issues, and so everybody's in a different situation, and they're all in different parts of the state.
But they all need food.
Right. So we have a method for determining exactly how much food goes in each basket, and we make adjustments for like diabetes or vegetarianism, or if they have a cultural preference. Like this year we have a lot of Latino families in the Nashua area because we hooked up with a couple of the elementary schools there, and they gave us lists of students that they personally know. Like, show up hungry to school a lot.
So chances are
show up hungry to school. I mean, how? That is so heavy.
Yeah.
So, so they don't. Those, I guess, like they're telling me. I don't know these people personally, but the caseworker there is telling me they don't really want a turkey, so we're going to send them frozen chicken, and different groceries that they're more accustomed to using.
Because there's no point in giving people food if they're not going to eat. Give them the food they're going to eat. I mean, if somebody's a vegetarian, you can give them six turkeys, and that's not going to help them.
They'll go bowling with it.
Right.
If somebody gave me a turkey, I'd be like, thanks. I'm going to give this to my mom because I don't know how to cook it.
I don't know what to do with this turkey. So do you have trucks to deliver the product? How do you do? I know you mentioned that
people like you,
yes,
in your car. That's how we deliver. So on the website at shiresharing.org/volunteer, you can fill out a form to sign up, and filling out the form means you are signed up and you will get assignments. So then on Sunday morning
Yes.
at 10 a.m. I like to do everything at 10 a.m.
It's a good
No
thing.
earlier. You show up at the warehouse, and we give you a list of addresses that you're going to and the bags that belong to each
Yeah.
household. And you take all your frozen turkeys or chickens.
Whatever it is.
And then you get to driving, and you want to bring a friend and GPS
Yeah.
and maybe snacks or something. And then you go to a house, knock on the door, ring the doorbell, whatever. You say Happy Thanksgiving. You give them the package, and you leave. And that's
So
it.
if somebody had a van, especially I would imagine if it was like a seated van, and so that they could take many bags, that would probably be helpful to.
Yeah,
So you could take,
definitely.
instead of saying here's 6, you might be able to say here's 26.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit longer, but I would
There
imagine
are-
if there's anybody out there who has access to vans, and because if it's being that you are a 501c3, you can give them, I'm assuming, a letter saying that they
Yeah.
something.
I don't know how
Figure
it
that
works
out
yet,
afterwards,
but,
right?
yeah. Whatever you consider your donation to be, I'm
Right.
sure it's
So
a
if
donation.
Merchants Auto were to say yes, we can give you these rental vans or
Hey.
wherever, auto fare. If Andy Cruz was out there listening, anybody, New Hampshire Auto Dealers Association, anybody. I'm just thinking there is a lot of
A
times.
whole fleet of Shire Sharing vans.
That's right.
But they have to have windows.
They have to have windows.
So they're not windowless vans, never mind.
Okay, I'm not going to ask. They have to have windows in the front.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it makes it really
definitely.
hard to drive
like
without
the
windows.
creepy ones with no
Okay.
windows on the sides.
Well, the creepy ones if they're
Like, hey, little kid, you want some food?
If they're no,
Never
I'm saying
mind.
if they were random vans, yes. But if they were like U-Haul vans, that wouldn't be so creepy because
Right.
people know that they're U-Haul vans.
Yeah.
And if somebody were out there wanted to, I know we're really going out. If somebody wanted to donate, maybe I'm not saying this is a priority by any means, but if there was a printer out there that wanted to donate signs to put on vehicles, that would be nice too, because
That would
it'd be
be
nice
cool.
to get people out there seeing the name so that next year it's that much easier, because I don't think this is going to go anywhere. So I think it's going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to hit the start button every year,
Yeah.
or it doesn't happen. But I think eventually it's gonna get away from me.
Well, I was going to say, and
People are gonna
hopefully,
own it.
I'm a slacker myself. I know when I did it last year, I said I definitely wanted to be more involved this year, and yet I haven't really. This is the first step in being more involved. So
Well, Saturday's when it
I
all
know
happens.
it'll all. We'll work on it. What else? So
We're also having a coat drive.
I knew
And
there was
that's
something
the part that is really suffering right now. We got requests for over 100 coats.
for kids.
Yeah, specifically
That's
for
really
children. So we have a page on the website. Like if you go to the main page and
Yep.
scroll down a little, it has a link to go to the coat page. And you can see a list of the requests. All the kids have code names because
Okay.
we don't want to
But there is the
publicize
specific
them.
an 8-year-old boy, size 10,
Yeah.
so that you're not like, here, have a coat that fits no kid.
Right. And then so you can look through the list and pick a child that you want to sponsor and then let us know their code name so that
Yep.
we won't let anyone else
Right, so
pick
you're
that
not-
kid.
And do they have to be new coats?
New or gently used.
Right. Good quality, nothing gross.
Yeah, no
No
gross.
dirty,
yeah.
gross coats.
I wouldn't want a gross kid
No,
either.
no,
Yeah.
you don't. No.
I made them
and
really
kids
cold.
deserve to have. I hate to say it, but when you're, I grew up in a family that didn't have all sorts of money, which is really weird because my father was in the union, so I don't know where all the money went to, but that's beside the point. I came from a big family, and we didn't always have the best of everything. And there were certain things that actually, as a kid, was exciting. Getting the 2 new pair of pants and the 2 new shirts for the beginning of the school year was a big deal. Getting a new winter coat was a big deal. Kids are, I can't imagine what it's like if you don't. Either A, don't even have a coat, or B,
Or
you've got
breakfast.
I can't even imagine not
Yeah.
having breakfast. I don't know how, I don't know how you fix that. Like, how do people just not have breakfast? So if you have a child of your own and you've taken good care of it,
And they go through them
and
so
they go
quickly.
through. That's what I mean. There's
Yeah.
a good chance
They're
that
always
last
gonna
year's
be
coat
good.
doesn't fit your kid this year anyways.
And it's still
and if you
looking
bought a
good.
coat at LL Bean, it's probably in good shape.
Or even Walmart.
Right.
You
So,
never know.
well, that's good to know, because I know I'm gonna, that's what I'm gonna be. My guilt is gonna be for the next
So
day
that,
is really pushing people to sign up so that you are depleted on your needs.
I really am excited to fulfill the coat requests. I don't think that we'll be able to.
Do all of them.
Oh, it's 130. And
No, but if you could get even
that's
a
a
quarter
lot.
of it, that's a quarter of the coats that they're
yeah,
looking for.
Yeah. So I'll be completely shocked and floored if we make it to 130. But we have probably 30 coats spoken for so far. That's pretty
Okay, so
spectacular
that's
progress.
right. That's almost 25%.
There's a lady named Heather that I don't think I've ever personally met her, but she lives somewhere in Manchester, and she's rounded up her kids' old coats, and she's been bugging her neighbors for days, and they've been bringing coats to her house, and she's like,
Coat City.
planning it all out,
Yep.
And she's gonna
Well,
meet up
because
with
not
me later
everybody
this
can
week.
do, like, everybody has different, different abilities. Some people might only be able to donate money because they simply don't have the time to do anything else. I get that. There might not be, there's people that, don't have any money, I can't afford, they can say, I can't afford to donate, or I can't afford to buy a coat, but I can definitely spend the time helping. And then there's people, like I said, who probably have perfectly good coats in their house that they don't.
Yeah, you never know. And there's a lot of the kids on the list. I mean, even if you're thinking of how can I help and you're just a single adult or something, there's a lot of kids on the list who wear adult sizes because they're teenagers.
That's right.
And they need coats. So it's worth looking at the list to see
Yeah, I didn't even think about
what
that.
what might be in your
Dan
closet.
would attest that I probably have coats.
Yeah, I probably have a couple too.
Yeah, that I could probably do to get rid of.
Yeah.
So look at the website, shiresharing.org. I'm going to, implore all of you, please go make a donation or sign up to volunteer or sign up to buy somebody a coat. It's a good thing. It's just a good thing. It'll make you feel good. You'll know you did good things. It'll make it. That's the purpose of the holiday season, I think.
I think it's really a good way for us all to heal from the
Well, it's
last
been a long
year
year
of the election
It really
cycle.
has, and a lot of people are really, upset about the results, and we have to move past that. We've got to move past and move
Yeah.
forward, and this is
What's
the
done
time.
is done.
What's done is done. You
Yeah.
can't undo it, and
We adjust to the world we live
that's
in.
right. And the world we live in still has kids without coats and people without food. So, please do make donations. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly at ManchTalk@gmail.com, and I can relay you on to. I'm sure there's a contact button on the website, anyways. But if anybody has any questions, otherwise, I also want to throw in before I do that. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Sophia, for sitting patiently. So, what's your job for this weekend? What's Mom going to make you do? You packing bags?
She'll probably run around and play with her friends.
Okay, that's
There's
good.
a whole charter school in Manchester that's having a food drive for Shire Sharing,
Awesome.
and they're going to bring all those supplies on
So
Saturday.
that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for organizing it. I want to divert for a second and say, putting my political hat back on. So the Manchester GOP meets Monday nights, the first Mondays of the month at Murphy's Tap Room at 6 o'clock. This month, which is November, we're meeting tonight, which is the 14th, which will already be passed by the time anybody's watching this. But I did want to say that on the first Monday of December, which I think is the 5th, the Manchester GOP is holding its holiday gathering. It's our annual Christmas party. It will be at the Bridge Street Cafe. Tickets, if you buy them now, are only $25. It's a great amount of food and a great amount of good people to spend the evening with. You can go to the ManchesterGOP.com website and find information there, or search on Eventbrite, or search on Facebook. That's my shameless plug for the Manchester GOP this month. The funds from that will go to electing Republicans at the city level next year, so it's kind of important to get involved now. What else do I want to say? You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter at ManchTalk, ManchTalk@gmail.com. That's all I've got for now. Please make sure you go to shiresharing.org and sign up to help. And hopefully next week I'll come in with a great story and maybe some video that I can share with all of you about the wonderful things that were done. That's all I got for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching.
Happy Thanksgiving.